All new at 10 now, police officers have a duty to protect and serve. But some Valley officers have been accused of abusing the badge, using their power and position to sexually pursue and sometimes assault women on the job.
The ABC 15 investigators have been looking into sexual misconduct by officers for years.
He got up, got dressed, and said, "You can take this off your bucket list."
Now, for the first time, we are hearing the voice of a woman who has accused a Maricopa County Sheriff's detective of rape in 2020. ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius waited more than a year for MCSO to release all the videos and investigative reports in this high-profile case.
You told me there's an allegation of rape. I want to tell you everything.
This was Maricopa County Sheriff's Detective Gary Kaplan in 2020. In handcuffs, under arrest, his accuser, a 51-year-old East Valley woman.
How do I know her? It was from she was a person in a domestic violence case that I was assigned.
Just days into the domestic violence investigation, these texts show Kaplan offered the woman, the victim in the case, a ride home from court. He advises her not to date crazy men and later asks to come to her home to meet her dog. In a recorded interview with MCSO internal affairs investigators, the woman says Kaplan pet her dog, then made sexual advances.
I've never had to have sex with somebody that I didn't want to. That was like the weirdest thing. He was just so brazen about it.
The victim told investigators Kaplan was wearing his bulletproof vest. His time card showed he was on the clock. Detective Kaplan admits the visit ended in sex.
I never threatened on phone, in voice, in person, to her or anyone else. I never forced her to do anything.
The woman filed a lawsuit against Kaplan and MCSO alleging battery, negligent training and supervision, and violations of the 14th Amendment's equal protection under the law. In court filings, lawyers for the woman say she had a history of abuse and he took advantage. She had no interest in Kaplan and he had used his authority and the fact that he was investigating a crime where she was the victim to befriend her, gain access to her home, and then assault her.
Start taking his stuff off. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And it's not like I said no, but I didn't want to do it, but I didn't know I was going to gut it.
Kaplan insisted the sex on that day in July 2020 and a second time when he returned to her home in August were both consensual.
She took my clothes off, well, my pants, my boxers, my shirt stayed on. She gave me oral sex. And then we had sex, and then I left shortly after. There's no rape.
But investigators found the woman told multiple people the detective raped her, and she said she used cotton swabs to try to preserve evidence.
Does that sound wrong what he did?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Extremely. It just makes my skin crawl.
Gary Nelson is a retired Scottsdale police sergeant and clinical therapist. He compares the police-citizen relationship to that of teacher and student or clergy and parishioner, but he says the power imbalance may be greatest when it comes to an officer.
It blurs the lines in terms of whether consent is possible.
Tasha Menaker is with the Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence.
And then those people that they have power over are less likely to be believed when they come forward to report that sexual assault has happened.
This Arizona state law, unlawful sexual conduct by a peace officer, prohibits police officers from knowingly having sex, even consensual sex, with the subject of an investigation or a person in their custody. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office declined to prosecute Kaplan under that law because the woman was not the suspect in his case, and it's unclear why the law was not extended to also apply to victims in active cases. It's also unclear whether or not the county attorney's office ever considered whether other sex crime laws would have applied to this situation. Case records show MCAO would reconsider the case if more victims came forward. Advocates for sexual abuse survivors want to make sure everyone knows it's okay to say no.
It's always okay to maintain and assert your boundaries. If there's been a situation where someone did not feel comfortable to say no, that doesn't always mean that there was consent. And it doesn't mean that it's that person's fault for what happened to them.
As for Kaplan, he'll never be a cop again. He retired from MCSO in 2021 in lieu of being fired for conduct unbecoming and dishonesty. But the internal investigation did not sustain a sexual assault allegation, saying the woman exchanged hundreds of text messages with Kaplan, and while she could have been put in a place of submission, she denied Kaplan used physical force. Kaplan also relinquished his peace officer certification, but remains a free man. Both Kaplan and MCSO declined to comment for this story. The woman's lawsuit is ongoing. And Kaplan continues to claim in court documents the woman was a willing participant and even the aggressor in the sexual interaction and texting, and he was not motivated by evil intent. In Phoenix, I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15, Arizona.
We want to remind you, if you believe you've been sexually abused or assaulted, help is available for you 24/7. RAIN operates a nationwide hotline. The number's on your screen. It's 1-800-656-HOPE. We have more resources and information online at abc15.com/investigators.